Hello, I hope everybody's doing well. All right. Summer Moon Utah Wells was reported missing June 15th, 2021, when a family member called 911 around 6:30 p.m. and reported that Summer's mother had gone for a run, and when she came back, a walk or a run, and when she came back, Summer was missing. It's been reported to the media by the police that Summer was last seen by one of her brothers walking away from her home. TBI states Summer was last seen in the 100 block of Ben Hill Road in the Beech Creek community of Hawkins County, Tennessee. Summer was reportedly wearing a pink shirt and gray pants and was believed to be barefoot. Summer was reported as 3 feet tall, though likely closer to 4 feet tall, and 40 pounds. She has blonde hair, which was shaved at the time of her disappearance, and blue eyes. The police are still looking for the driver of a red or maroon late 90s to early 2000s model Toyota Tacoma with a full bed, ladder rack, and white buckets in the back that was seen in the area of Summer's home on Ben Hill Road in the late afternoon to early evening of June 14th or June 15th, 2021. Hundreds of trucks matching the description were looked into, but none of them were believed to be the one, which is a possible witness to the circumstances surrounding Summer's disappearance. Summer's mother and father, Candus and Don Wells, have not been cleared by law enforcement and remain suspects. Everyone surrounding Summer the day of her disappearance is considered a suspect as far as we know, and everything is still on the table, last we heard. That was a while ago, though, so maybe this year on June 15th, we will hear an update on Summer's case. We all hope. I won't be getting my hopes up for that. So I want to talk about Summer. But first, I want to address some things. I believe some people are wondering why I'm always on pre-recorded lives. I think a lot of people assume I'm actually like really live, when really it's actually just a pre-recorded video that I then go and broadcast live through StreamYard. So it's not like it's something that was recorded a while ago. It's something that I freshly record and then I just go and I broadcast it just in case it doesn't turn out right, because like if my baby wakes up or something and I have to abruptly go, then I don't have to, leave people hanging and then have to come back and redo it. It'll just all be there and I can be in the chat that way too. I just hit that schedule broadcast button after recording it and link it with YouTube, Like I said, then I can be in the chat with you guys. Otherwise, I miss the whole chat till the end, basically, or whenever I have time to go look at the chat, because I'm reading off of notes and I'm reading off of what I have typed up from transcribing videos and typing my commentary up with it. Because if I don't type my commentary with what I transcribe, I would lose my spot over and over trying to read it all off. And that would be annoying for you guys, and it would distract from the subject. So hopefully you can understand that. Also, like I said, I have my 2-year-old chicken nugget that is very restless and loud, and I cannot record or go live when he's awake because he is so loud and demanding, and he will cry if I don't let him touch my computer and if I don't pay direct attention to him, because he goes everywhere and does everything with me, and he's never had a babysitter even. I've never left his side before in his life. So he gets very upset if I don't give him my undivided attention. So if he's up, it's basically like a no-go right now. When he's a little bit older, it'll be a little bit different. He won't be so obsessed with my computer and want to be touching all the buttons. And he won't be so upset if I'm in the other room right where he can see me with the gate up. But he knows he can't come touch mommy's computer. He won't be so upset about it. Once he gets a little bit bigger, it'll be a little bit easier. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I feel like it's pretty normal for a 2-year-old. I think a lot of you will actually understand that. So I feel it would be a disrespect to be on live and have all this background noise, because my house can be noisy too. So instead of going live, I just pre-record it and then stream it right after I record it and jump in chat with you all. I love to be actually live so I can like put your comments on the screen and everything, but I still see them either way. And you will see that I have gone live several times, and I still do when I feel that I can, but sometimes it's just not an option for me. So just know, just because I can't always put your comments up on the screen and read them out on a live, or call out your name like on the video, that doesn't mean I don't see you. I will still talk to you in the chat. It's just that I have to pre-record sometimes. It keeps the live also from being able to become derailed as well, which I actually love. It also keeps drama to a minimum. I like my little setup that I have, and it works for me right now. Okay. So eventually I will be able to actually go live a lot more often, but I'll enjoy that too. That'll be cool. But also, I recently did a live discussing theories a little bit, and I felt like I should probably talk about that too. I don't want to ever be the reason anyone is calling in tips or emailing any tips in. Use your own discretion. Use common sense. I was under the impression we could all be adults and speculate responsibly, but apparently this is something I need to say. LE has clearly stated they do not want rumors from social media to be called in, because they were getting so many calls about rumors on social media that it was slowing them down in their investigation. I don't ever want to attribute to that, so I'm saying it now. Only call in tips if they're credible. We should not be calling in tips unless we are actually sure that what we have is credible. They're asking for information that can help them in locating Summer. If you think you know where Summer is, or you know what happened to Summer, you have to make the determination whether you think that information will be credible to investigators. If it's speculation and rumor from social media, it's not what they're looking for. If you actually know where Summer is, you need to talk to the authorities immediately, obviously. But I think the problem with that is the people that know where Summer is will never say a word. I hope that's not the case. I have faith in law enforcement personally, but if they can't figure anything out, our only other hope really is someone on social media actually figuring Summer's case out. And that doesn't seem likely to me. I'm sorry, but it just doesn't. But it's possible, I guess. I mean, it has happened in the past in other cases, but I don't see it happening in this case. I really don't. Someone seeing Summer like somewhere out in the public or wherever, just somebody seeing her and recognizing her and calling it in, or whoever knows what happened to Summer and where she is comes forward. That's all our hope is, that one of those things will happen, right? So what would it take to make that happen? Like, what's it really going to take for something like that to happen? I mean, am I muted? Okay, I'm not muted. Cool. There would have to be a master strategy, right, to lure the truth out of whoever has done Summer so wrong like this. They must know how hated they will be once they're found out. They're probably hanging on to their facade with every fiber of their being, just praying that the truth is never revealed for their own selfish reasons. Which is what a freaking shame, man. Seriously. Summer had to put up with so much BS her whole life, in my opinion. And now she has to be missing for all this time. Who knows how much longer? And whoever has done this horrific act of getting Summer gone will eventually die with that on their conscience if they never come clean. And Summer is never found. Did they even think about how serious that is alone? Maybe it's not to them because they don't have a conscience. I mean, how could they? How could they even live with themselves? How can you keep that big and dark and twisted of a secret and actually live with yourself? How can you wake up and brush your teeth in the morning and look at yourself in the mirror and be able to stomach what you see looking back at yourself? How could someone stomach themselves on a daily basis? There really are some sick, twisted people out there. You really have to be careful. There's even weirdos in the Summerwells community on YouTube and Facebook. Seriously, you guys would be surprised. Some of the comments that I even get on my page, I can't imagine actual big creators, the comments that they probably get. It would probably blow my mind. They're literally everywhere. I just pray Summer was never exposed to any of those people. Although I do worry. Someone got her gone, right? So whoever got her gone was probably sick and twisted because of the fact that they were obviously okay with doing it, whatever happened. Which, how could you be okay with doing something like that? If you weren't okay with it, you would have came forward. You would have broke by now. So obviously you were okay with it. So how sick and twisted are you? What is it really going to take to get you to come forward? Someone got her gone. I don't think she just vanished. She just walked away and got lost. I think they would have found her by now if that was the case. I really do. I feel like she was exposed to something awful. Someone left me a comment saying, how could I know if Summer was not happy in her life? So, did you see her living conditions and how high her mom was on social media, like she was proud of it, flicking a cigarette on herself? And those are just two little examples. It's my opinion that Summer was not happy all the time. I think Summer had a lot of struggles in her life as a child that most adults don't have in their lives. Maybe it's not fair to assume that, considering I don't know. But I'm allowed to believe that Summer deserved better, and I think it's okay to say that. I think Summer will be found, and whoever has done this to her will be brought to justice. And I think we're all going to feel a gut-wrenching feeling when we hear the truth. And that's my opinion, and I stand by it. And I think it's bad, whatever happened. It couldn't be good for Summer. Look at everything she's missing out on. Look at all the things she missed out on in her first 5 years of life. This person or people, whoever knows where Summer is and what happened to her, is so highly likely amongst us, probably right now. They are not lurking in the shadows, in my opinion. They're right in front of our face. If I ever did something so awful, I would seriously do myself in. I can't fathom how disturbed some people truly are. Some of the things people think up that they think happened to Summer blows my mind. I try not to say anything graphic about Summer, but some people just say whatever, and that really bothers me. Please don't do that here. Don't say anything really graphic that you think happened to Summer. Like, you don't have to go into detail, you know? That's just not necessary. I don't even want to think of Summer as anything but a fun-loving, animal-loving, nature-loving, pretty, barefoot little princess from the mountains in Northeast Tennessee. But unfortunately, there is a stark reality. Summer is experiencing a traumatic tragedy. It's my opinion that June 15th, 2021 was the worst day of her life. That's how I feel. She is missing out on so much ever since that very day, and it's not fair. It's not right. Now, look, I'm just a girl from Ohio. I've never been to Hawkins County, Tennessee. I've been to Tennessee, never been there. I don't know Summer or her family. I don't know the holler or anyone in it, and I don't know what happened to Summer. Um, I know that there's people in the holler that are speaking out, and I think we should listen. I know something bad happened to Summer and she is missing or hidden, and pretty much everybody in that holler thinks that Dawn and Candus had something to do with it and did something to Summer. Even Candus's ex-friends think that she did something to Summer. And she needs to be found because every single day is more and more imminent. And this coming June 15th is just another symbol of that to me. Something was so very concerning to the TBI that they issued an Amber Alert with no sign of abduction because it was the most severe alert. That was their reason. They have some evidence. We don't know what exactly that is altogether, and we cannot assume they aren't doing anything and that they have nothing, because I guarantee you they do. Just like we should not assume Summer is dead. We should assume Summer is living because, like I said, every day is more imminent. She could be hurting, she could be scared, alone. I mean, it could be a lot worse than anyone could really even imagine. Um, you know, and even if she wasn't living, um, it's still just as urgent of a matter regardless, but I feel we should definitely assume that she is living because that makes it that much more urgent and pressing of a matter, and it keeps people's eyes peeled for her wherever they go. Um, yeah, because Summer has been missing for 2 years with very little information released. Very little to go off of, aside from the live streams her parents are part of, in which they're showing their ass and talking or not talking about Summer. I mean, you can go to www.tbinewsroom.com/Summer Wells and look for updates there. Um, I know TBI posts to Twitter too. Um, you know, that call that Doug, no thanks, put out with Don, the one that he just put out like today or yesterday. I think he just put it out today, I think. That was so disturbing to me. Why is Don continually telling stories about picking up minor girls from the side of the road and taking them home and proceeding to go into their homes like he's bragging about it? That's so very strange to me. I think it's important to observe the behavior of Summer's parents, just like I think it's important to listen to what everyone in the holler says. No matter how you feel or what you think about them, I'm not saying to believe what you hear or not to believe it, but hear it. I have seen many sides to Don and Candus. I have heard their stories evolve. I believe Candus knows a lot more than she has told anybody, and she was the last person to be responsible for Summer that day. Candus was allegedly interacting with Summer immediately prior to her disappearing. It does not make sense that Summer would just disappear off that property, nowhere to be seen by anyone in all of Beech Creek, that quickly, just gone. And with her brothers all home and inside the house, Candus was just outside, aside from the 2 to 5 minutes she was helping Grandma adjust her knee brace. So if Candus was only gone for a few minutes, Summer had just ran inside and downstairs, then it only a few minutes had gone by, and then she went out the basement door. How did Candus not run into her outside? I feel like someone would have had to have had the most perfect timing if somebody did abduct Summer and be able to get in and away with nobody else noticing either, being the neighbors or any of the people around that day, like the tree trimmers, who I'm not sure if they were even there around the time Summer allegedly disappeared. I'm thinking the tree trimmers cut out kind of early that day, if I remember, like around 3 or 4, I think. But they would have likely noticed if someone came up there while Candus, Grandma, and Summer were gone. At least one of them probably would have noticed somebody. Jody probably would have noticed somebody. She was all hyper vigilant that day, right? She did say she saw a red flash. Maybe some of the people coming to look at the property for sale would have noticed. I don't think Jackie Dobbs was actually there on the 15th. But so with all of this extra going on, what would otherwise be a very quiet and hidden spot, and there's all this extra stuff going on, making it not so quiet and hidden? Wouldn't that deter an abductor? There's no sign of abduction per the FBI card team, who I believe are very thorough. It has not been ruled out, though. I believe if someone took Summer, Don and or Candus knows about it, and they probably planned it, or they were trying to avoid it and were afraid it was going to happen, and they know who it is. I think that's actually a pretty likely possibility. I think it's also possible that Summer got into something and, like some kind of medicine, maybe. And maybe Candus took Summer to Don, or Don was already there and he took Summer somewhere, and Summer was hidden because they would have been sent to prison if they would have taken her to the hospital. That would explain why she was not detected to be deceased on the property or in the car with cadaver dogs, because she could have been on her way out, for lack of a better term, and she could have passed away outside of the car wherever they took her to if she did. And I know it's sickening to think about, but it does go through my mind, and I think, what if she is close by and they just haven't looked out quite far enough yet? But then there's the possibility that Summer is with someone that Don and Candus know by association, someone that they did not want her to be with, someone they had dealings with maybe that came and took her, and someone that they did. Either way, that would mean, if it was someone that they did know, that would mean, and they came and took Summer, that she's likely still living. No matter what we think happened to Summer, it's important to assume she is still alive, like I said, because the help needs to be as urgent as possible. She could be scared and hurt, and she needs rescued, and there's no sense of urgency from her own parents, so she at least can deserve it from us. They seem to just accept that she's gone. They speak of her most of the time in past tense and as if she has passed. That makes a lot of people lose hope, and that's not fair. Summer could be held up somewhere, for real, in a dungeon, and living in hell, so we really shouldn't assume she has passed. It's okay to think that, to theorize on things responsibly. It's okay to have your opinion and to feel the way that you do. But just keep in mind, Summer could very well be living and in desperate need of being rescued. And either way, she needs found sooner than later, like today would be ideal. Those are just my thoughts, and that's what I believe is right. I feel more and more sad as June 15th approaches because that's the longer Summer has been missing. I wonder if she understands that there are people looking for her. Like I've said before, I truly wish Summer knew in her heart that she's not lost in all of ours. Um, you know. So I wasn't really going to say anything about this, but I just recently got to 1,000 subscribers, and I just want you guys to know that I do appreciate you. Um, I was steady at about 985 there for a little bit, and I actually wasn't bothered by the 900 number at all. I actually was very grateful and appreciative of that because that's all the more people to hear what I have to say, see missing people's faces, hear their stories. Um, so, that 1,000 number, that actually feels like a big responsibility to me because I'm presenting information about missing people that need found and need justice and deserve their story to be told. And I always want to make sure I'm as respectful and precise as I can be for them. I don't ever want to be disrespectful towards victims or their families or get anything wrong in their name or leave anything important out. I want to do a great job on their behalf. That's why Summer's case is so hard, because I don't want to be disrespectful towards Summer's family, but I have to say how I really feel. It never feels good enough, though, no matter what I do for somebody. Also, I want to say thank you to everyone that listens, because I spent a lot of time just listening and a lot of time typing and thinking of what I could possibly say that could be helpful in some way, at least to somebody following the case at the very least. I want to be helpful and never hurtful. I only have a couple hours in a day at the most to work on my page. I want to make it really count. I want to be helpful to Summer. I want to be helpful to as many people as I can. I think about Summer every day, basically all day long. No matter what I'm doing, I always forget to take my earbuds out when I get in the shower at night because I'm always listening to something about Summer, trying to hear something that I didn't hear before, or make sense of something I didn't understand before, or listening to a new live stream with people still continuing to talk about her and create new content, keeping her name out there. I know not everybody is going to agree with what I say, and that's fine. I don't want or expect everyone to think the same way about everything. That would suck. Differences in opinion are really important to me. I also think it's important that our theories can be discussed here amongst ourselves without any hate or disrespect towards anybody. If we feel differently about something, we can discuss it respectfully towards one another, because it is all in Summer's name. Another thing I wanted to address was the missing poster that I deleted off my community wall that had Summer's age progression photos on it. Now, this is no hate towards anybody, so I hope nobody takes this the wrong way. But in my opinion, I think it's important, after thinking long and hard about this, that we only share age progression photos of Summer that are released by law enforcement, because Summer could possibly look different than that, and we don't know what Ellie knows. Because we don't know what Ellie knows, in my opinion, we should leave that part to law enforcement. And again, it's no hate at all to the creator of the age progression photos. No hate to anyone that's shared it or liked it, any of them. I love you all, and I really don't want to start any drama over this or hurt anybody's feelings. That's the last thing, trust me. I just think it's something that we should hold off on sharing. Um, Share her poster from the missingkids.org if you are able to. You can print it off at your local library for like 10 cents a page if you don't have a printer. I think there will be a 2-year presser, and who knows, maybe law enforcement will have an age progressed photo of Summer, and maybe it won't look anything like those, or maybe it will. But we don't know, and we have to leave it to the people that are closest to her case, so it's as precise as it can be, so we don't misrepresent her, in my opinion. The first time I saw an age progression of Summer, I showed it to my man and asked him who it was, and he didn't even know, and he knows Summer's face. I think it's an amazing skill the woman has, don't get me wrong, and I don't know anything about her. But I know she claims to be professional, and I was under the impression she sketched for police, but I definitely heard someone say that she did sketch for police in a chat a few months ago. But I don't think they meant Hawkins police or TBI or anything like that, but police wherever she's from, probably. So anyways, I made a community post showing Trev Times Wix site. If somebody could drop Trev Times link, I would really appreciate it. Trev is a great guy and I really appreciate him. But I dropped his link for his Wix site where you can find that flyer with Summer's age progressed photo, which I thought was done by Art for Life Forensics, who is professional, but I may be mistaken on that. That might not have been done by her. Someone asked me and I thought I knew the answer until I actually thought about it, and I was like, wait, maybe that was someone else. I just assumed it was the same person for whatever reason, that put all those age progressions together. But I gotta be honest, I never liked them. Summer has straight hair, and I don't think her face would be that filled out. And I'm talking about the sketch. But the ones on the flyer are Photoshop photos of Summer, not sketches. I think whoever made those had the best of intentions, and I do not want to hurt anyone's feelings. I just don't think we should keep sharing it anymore after thinking about it. Someone mentioned that they were not released by LE. And I was like, dang, that's a really good point. And I just couldn't ignore that. So I was like, I should probably delete that. I don't really want to share that. Like, I had a weird feeling ever since I first saw the age progression photos of Summer. And that's why I've never shared them before, because I just got a weird feeling about them. And I felt like that did not look like her. But, I wanted to support Trev. I want Summer's face across America. But I just feel like I shouldn't have posted that. I should have tried to somehow, I don't know. Maybe it's not my place. But Summer could look totally different than that. We don't know for sure. And like I said, we don't want to misrepresent her. That's all. I think the hair is wrong in the sketch. I've never seen Summer with wavy hair. I hate to even say it because it's really no hate towards anybody. It's just how I feel. I'm always so worried about hurting people's feelings, but sometimes there's just things I think need to be said. Like, what if Summer's head is still shaved? Or what if her hair is different than that? What if she's like completely skinnier than that or gained a bunch of weight? You don't know. In that case, it would be a misrepresentation. And there should at least be an either or photo with hair and one without, just in case, because you never know. I would let the law make that determination, though. And I'm not trying to sound rude at all. Trust me. Summer's appearance is a big deal, though. That's how she will be identified by somebody if they were to see her out somewhere, by her appearance. So yes, it is a huge deal. We have to wait and see what law enforcement says June 15th, hopefully, and go from there. I don't know what else to say about that, because I feel like I can't just go straight to somebody and tell them, change your flyer that you just spent all this time making with good intentions for Summer, or ask them to take the age progression photos out of the flyer, keep the flyer the same, just change the age progression photos to regular photos, because I feel rude saying that to someone, but I just feel like I need to. So I don't know. I'm torn on it. So I figured I would just say it here on my page. Like I said, it's no hate to anybody because I love and adore Trev Time, and I think the forensic artist did a great job. And I think the flyer is actually really nice. I just would like personally to see it without the age progressed photos and with other photos instead. Like the photos they used were fine. Just take the age progressed part away, like the hair that's on it or whatever else happened to it. Take that away and just leave the original photos. And I think it would be perfect. Um, and I hope I'm not out of line saying that. I suppose I'm not on my own channel, but that's just how I feel. So I shared that flyer with Summer's age progression because people were asking where they could print flyers. So I thought I should post a link to Trev Time Summer Across America. I actually emailed a bunch of those news sites that I pulled from Trevor's website, the Summer Across America website, and my own local news outlets, and just said, Amber Alert, Summer Moon Utah Wells missing from the Beech Creek community of Hawkins County, Tennessee. I gave her information and asked them to consider publishing the information as it's urgent. I attached a little bit of general information about her case. I attached her original Amber Alert poster as a photo. I never got not one email back, by the way. I was hoping someone would at least say thanks for the info or something, so I know someone at least read it and knows about Summer, but that took me forever to do, and I was just hoping someone would at least notice for Summer's sake, but I don't know if they did or not. I don't know if there's a way to get whoever made that flyer and published it to the Wix site that Trev made for them to just change the photos or not, but if they do, sweet. If not, I mean, that's their decision. I just would like to see it happen, but I think, like I said, I think Trev's awesome, so yeah, definitely no hate. I actually go into all of his lives, and he has great chats. I love to hear what he has to say. He's put in a lot of time and effort to try to help Summer, and I adore that. I hope nobody takes this the wrong way, how I feel about the age progression photos of Summer. It's nothing personal. It's just how I feel. And I wanted to say something because I posted about it, and I wanted to clarify on it a little bit. So, all right. I'm trying to skip ahead a little bit so I don't run out of time. Remember when someone thought they spotted Summer for real in Georgia? I believe that was Jenna, wasn't it? Summer's parents didn't seem to be very affected by that, did they? One second. So, yeah. Candus got upset and left the behavioral panel when they were questioning her. When they went to California, and Candus got upset and ripped her mic off and walked off because she felt like she was being interrogated again. Remember that? Yeah. That was after mention of the mafia. So I don't know why that would trigger her, but I think it was more than that. That outburst was building up since before they said anything about the Cornbread Mafia, in my opinion. In my opinion, it had nothing to do with the potential sighting of her missing daughter, Summer, like some people say. It doesn't thrill me to say this, but Summer's parents are suspects. They have not been cleared, but they also have not been arrested. Everything's still on the table as far as anybody around here knows. Ellie hasn't said anything new in a really long time. Why? Probably because they're aware of how entangled the suspect or suspects likely are in the crowd amongst us. That's probably why law enforcement isn't saying anything. They know the person or people are hearing and seeing everything. They're not about to show any of their cards for Summer's sake. There's a reason why they say what they do and why they keep secret what they keep secret. Um, what do they know that we don't know about what happened to Summer? Probably a hell of a lot more than we know. Because we really don't know anything. Who will talk first between Don, Candus, and Grandma, if ever? Um, like about the guilty knowledge that they potentially have, in my opinion, allegedly. Grandma is staying quiet to the world. It makes me wonder if what she said to Emma, if that really was her, which I believe it was, it's not that far-fetched to think that someone could get her number and chat with her. But I think it was just to try to make people look at Dawn instead of Candus. That's just my opinion. Grandma was conveniently taking a nap right around the time Summer went missing, so she doesn't possibly know anything, right? Yet Candus was over there with Grandma, according to Candus herself, during that time. So when did Candus really leave Grandma's camper? And when did Grandma actually fall asleep? I'm sure she isn't good with time either, but it doesn't make sense. Don and Candus say their boys were the last to see Summer, but Candus was responsible for those boys. It doesn't matter what they saw or what they did. Candus is responsible for them. They're still very young. I don't want to talk too much about them. I hope they are happy and getting everything that they need. I also don't like to talk about Hunter, but just because he's a minor, and I know a lot of people make accusations about him and throw shade at him, and I don't really like that, so I try not to bring him up too much. But if we're to believe what Hunter has to say about June 15th, 2021, he said that day that Candus texted him, June 15th, 2021, she said, "Grandma's in the hospital." So Hunter called Candus and said, "Do you want to come over for a little bit? Because Grandma is going to be in the hospital for a little while." So Hunter tapped his mom on the shoulder or whatever to try to wake her up because she was half asleep like always. And he asked her if they, being Candus and Summer, could come over. And Allie said, yeah, for a little bit. So Candus said she would be over in 5 to 10 minutes, which seems pretty quick to get to Hunter's house from Holston Valley. Right? So, unless it would be really quick to get to Hunter's house from Holston Valley, unless she assumed it would be okay that she came over and had it planned in her head already and was already on her way. And Hunter said he's really bad with times, so he doesn't know how long it was before Candus actually got there. I thought that was a little strange to point out, but maybe he's just trying to be as detailed as possible. So she pulls up and gets out of the car with Summer, and supposedly the boys went to work with Don, Wyatt, and Josie, he says. So what about Waylon? Maybe he just forgot to say his name. Hunter says he meets Candus out by the car. He said he hasn't seen her in a while because he has only recently talked to her on Snapchat at that time. So, to me, it seems like Hunter and Candus were still cool when they had the falling out, but Candus and Allie were not cool, which is odd to me that you would communicate with your ex-best friend's 14 or 15-year-old son through Snapchat, of all things, when they've had some big falling out. It's just weird. Whatever happened between Candus and Allie might not be important at all for Summer, but they sure don't seem to want to talk about the specifics of that falling out, which that's their business. They don't have to, but they definitely don't want to. I wonder why. Hunter said he dapped Candus up like usual. She comes in and everyone sits down and they asked, what happened to Grandma? And Candus said Grandma hurt her knee in Gatlinburg because the kids kept kicking her leg. That just seems like such an odd story. Why would the kids continually be kicking their grandmother in the knee? Grandma doesn't seem like the type to take much crap. I doubt she would even let that happen. It's just so odd to me. So Grandma is at Holston Valley, and Hunter says just Summer was with Candus. Hunter says Candus pulled up around 11 a.m. It was at least 10, he says, because he was up all night. Hunter says he just doesn't pay attention to time. Again, with the not paying attention to time, being bad with time, that's kind of a red flag to me whenever someone says that, especially when they really emphasize it. And I hate to say that about a minor teenager, but unfortunately, it just is. I don't think Hunter had anything to do with Summer missing. I'm just saying it stands out to me. Maybe he was lying about something that happened or the way that it happened or what really was going on that day, but he didn't have anything to do with what happened to Summer. Candus said something about taking Summer fishing, and Hunter asked if he could go with them because Summer was going. So he asked his mom if he could go with Candus because Candus told him he had to ask Allie. Is this strange to anybody that they have this falling out so bad, but Allie is cool with Candus taking her teenage son out, knowing they're likely going to get into something that they shouldn't? You can't tell me that Allie didn't know there was potential for something to happen that she would not approve of, yet she still let Hunter go. So she obviously wasn't too worried. I really question Allie's credibility. Hunter said his mom told him that was fine, that he could go, because there's nothing wrong with going fishing for a little bit and come back. Right, and come back. Don't take him up on your hill, Candus, and hold him hostage again, right? You don't want to have to deal with calling the law again to get your kids removed and brought back to you, right, Allie? It'll make you look bad, right? Never mind whatever your young teenage son could have possibly been doing with a late 30-some-year-old woman, but I won't go there right now. Chris asks what his impression was of Summer when he saw her that day. Hunter says just like how it normally is, like, yay, she's over here. Chris asks him what he thinks draws Summer to him, and he says, like basically just like an older brother. He treats her nice, shows her attention. And he says her older brother's always picked on her, so he tried to be like that big brother to her. He says they treated us like family, and we treated them like family. At one point in time, until one miss happened that tore them all apart. Until they talked that day on June 15th, the day Summer was reported missing. Aside from the Snapchats he claims to have shared between himself and Candus, Hunter says he just wanted to get out of the house that day on June 15th. Then he says Grandma called and she said she was ready to be picked up from the hospital, like very shortly after Candus arriving to Allie's house. Hunter says at first he sat in the front and they moved a box to the bed of the truck and another box to behind the passenger seat. So I take it Grandma sat in the back seat on the passenger side on the way to the hospital. I wonder how she fit back there with the seat pushed back, having all those boxes on it. Sometimes I do question some things. Like, was Hunter actually with them on the 15th? Did he stay the night at Candus's house on the 14th? And that's why he said he was up all night and he's bad with times and he doesn't know what time Candus got there, etc. Maybe because she was already there. Maybe they moved all the boxes prior to June 15th. Maybe there were some things that happened on a different day that they're saying happened that day. Potentially, in my opinion. Just thinking out loud. Hunter says Summer was on the driver's side in the back seat. Hunter said there was no milk in the car at that point. That was not until they went to Priceless, which is a few hours later, he says. Hunter says the truck was full of boxes and TVs. How very strange. Where do you get a buildup of TVs? Just curious. Hunter says Summer was changed into her bathing suit inside his house. He says Candus took the clothes with her that Summer was wearing that day after changing her into her bathing suit. Allie said she did not know if those clothes were still at her house or not, but Hunter says they were not there. Candus took them with her. Hunter also says the outfit that Grandma supposedly got Summer for her first day of school that Candus later took credit for buying for Summer, which whatever. Hunter says that outfit was bought because they were going on a trip the following weekend to a water park. I don't know if that's important to note, but it's just something that I noticed. Why all the discrepancy on that outfit? Why not just put the outfit back on Summer that she had on before they went swimming? Was Summer really wearing that outfit that day because she was cold after swimming? What's the significance of it aside from it's what she was wearing June 15th? It seems like there's a detail missing. I don't know what or how to word it, but something about that outfit does not sit right with me. Why lie about an outfit? Am I overthinking it? Please, if you think I'm overthinking something or being too picky about a detail, tell me, because sometimes I can be that way. Yeah, when Candus talks to Chris M at Warriors, Candus says something that really disturbs me, along with Hunter saying that Don called when they were at Walgreens saying there was someone on the property looking at the kids. And how would Don know that if he was at work? Maybe that was a different day that happened and he's getting it confused. Who knows? He was drinking. It's possible, but I actually believe him. I cannot fathom any reason why Hunter would make that up, that there was someone on the property trying to touch the little kids. And in my heart, I have this nagging feeling that Don came home from work earlier in the day and then went back, or went somewhere near there about the same distance away, because then his phone would ping off the same towers, right? So how does that work? Is it precise location or just tower pings in general areas? Anyone know? So Candus says what she thinks happened to Summer. She says in her heart she believes that someone came up there and took Summer and has hid her out somewhere and is keeping her from them. All right.
Somebody has got her hid out somewhere.
Okay.
And is keeping her away from us.
Help me understand why that's in your heart.
Okay, first off, I didn't know how many sex offenders lived around me that were only 8 minutes from my property.
Okay.
Does that bother anybody else that she immediately brings up sex offenders? There's too many references to that topic in Summer's case. It really bothers me.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Right.
And another, my daughter never goes out into the woods because we've taught her there's dangerous snakes, there's bears, there's pack of dogs, there's coyotes, there's everything magical out there in the woods that can hurt you.
Okay.
If they had to tell Summer time and time again, over and over, it was probably because she wasn't listening. So that kind of tells me that she did that all the time. She probably ran around out there all the time, went into the woods by herself all the time. Because otherwise, why would they have to tell her over and over and over? Yet, they want us to believe, for whatever reason, probably because they want to look like good helicopter parents. They want us to believe that Summer would never go out on her own because she knew better. I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
I've even taught my boys that.
Okay.
And I have never stressed that enough. I tell her that every day.
Right.
And she would never, ever go anywhere than that swing that's on that tree.
Okay. Yeah, tell me about that swing. Is that her favorite? I love those videos you put up showing her.
All right, so Summer would never go off that yard by her swing. How many times have we heard Candus say those words? And why? Why would Summer never go off that yard by her swing? And why does she emphasize this so much? It bothers me. Would she go off that yard by her swing over that steep hill? Would she? Or really would she not? Because she just loved to be on her swing. And that's just where she always hung out. I'm going to continue this for another hour. Hopefully tomorrow. But life can be so rude sometimes. So I will continue this, and we'll continue talking about June 15th and a little bit more of what Dawn and Candus both have to say about June 15th. And we're going to continue to talk about Summer. We're going to continue to do everything in our power to keep her name and face up in lights as long as possible. And despite all of our differences and what everybody thinks about each other, at the end of the day, that doesn't matter. Summer still needs our help. Are you making sure that the flyers that you've hung are fresh now? Are you making sure that you are actually telling somebody new, at least, here and there about Summer? Are you praying? Are you truly? Just do one good thing for Summer today, even if it's just a prayer. Because in my heart, no matter what you believe, what your religion, whatever, what your spirituality is, I believe there's immense power in prayer. So, universe, please show Summer peace and let her be found alive sooner than later, because that's the least that she deserves, is to be found, be able to tell her own story the way she wants it told. All right. Until next time, y'all, keep your crown straight, stand your ground, do the right thing, be yourself, and do what's right for Summer. Stick up for Summer. Don't fund suspects. Do the right thing. All right. Truly love you guys, and I appreciate you always being here for Summer and listening to what I have to say. And for being kind, because truly my chat is always, it's always great. It's always kind, even when we disagree on things. So, all right. I appreciate you all very much, and I truly hope that you have a great night. It's a tough world out there, so keep your chin up. Keep that crown on straight. We love you, Summer Moon.